everyone. Welcome back to Panel to Panel. You know who 20 through 11 is, so let's delve right in to our top 10 females in comics. Number 10, Wonder Woman.
Hooray!
I can hear the Twitterverse blowing up. Why is Wonder Woman at number 10?
That's like halfway through. It's a list of 20. That's pretty good.
So who wants to kick off with Wonder Woman?
My first experience with Wonder Woman was the TV show, of course, when I was a kid. The Linda Carter Wonder Woman. That was that was always one of my favorite shows when I was really small. And to tell you the truth, the only Wonder Woman, I'd never read the solo issue Wonder Woman comics. The only Wonder Woman that I know of is the Justice League stories and like Super Friends and the Justice League cartoons, but mostly from group collaborations with other Justice Leaguers have I read Wonder Woman. So her solo career, I do know that early on she was created as a guy that was into S&M created her or something. I guess the magic lasso is a part of all that, where if she actually gets the lasso wrapped around her, she has to submit to men's will or something like that. Early on, then they've progressed her character through the years, but I know a little bit about her origin, and then not much, and then what she's done with the Justice League and various other heroes.
I'm the same. I fell in love with Wonder Woman. Through the TV show that I have all of, actually. That's actually where I learned her origin story, actually through asking my husband, because he's a Superman, Wonder Woman fan. And then I don't read her current right now, her current comic. I kind of want to, but I haven't got around to it. But yeah, she's Amazonian. She's strong. She definitely beautiful, has a good heart. She definitely deserves to be on this list. And my 2-year-old has a Wonder Woman. My 2-year-old little boy has a Wonder Woman we bought for him, and he has the invisible plane because, I just think that everybody needs to know who she is, no matter what. She's a hero. She's great.
Well, Wonder Woman, she's an Amazon, originally in the Golden Age from Paradise Island, and she debuted in All-Star Comics number 8, and she was brought to basically into our world by Captain Steve Trevor, whose plane crash landed on Paradise Island, and at that time in the Golden Age, Wonder Woman, Diana's mother, she was the queen of the Amazon. She was Hippolyta, and she ended up coming to America, taking on the name Diana Prince, of course, we all know. And through the years, she went in from the Golden Age to the Silver Age. She had a lot of ties in with World War II during the Silver Age of comics. And even now, of course, you talk about the Crisis of Infinite Earths, where her entire history was kind of revamped, just like the whole DC universe, where she became an emissary of Themyscira, which is what they now call Paradise Island. And Wonder Woman has always been. I always thought she was kind of the other side of the coin for Superman, because Wonder Woman she could fly, she had amazing strength, so she was kind of, to me, the flip side of Superman. And I think for many young girls, Wonder Woman was always someone they wanted to look up to, a strong female who could get the job done. She was, for the longest time, she was the female within the all boys club. When you talk about the Justice League, she was the girl in the all boys club, but she could hold her own. She could hold her own better than half the guys. So, Wonder Woman, we are happy to have you on our list at number 10. Number 9, Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld.
This one's all yours, man. I read the first issue of what, Sword and Sorcery is? Is that what she's in?
That's what she's in now.
But I wasn't really aware of her character. I knew of her just because she's in Crisis too. But I don't really know much about her other than I read the New 52. The story.
Well, Amethyst originally, she started off in Legion of the Superheroes, Volume 2, number 298. And afterwards, she got actually a 12-issue limited series for herself in 1983. And the story behind Amethyst, this is her original story. Within Gemworld, there are different houses. There's House Amethyst, House Opal, House Citrine. And she was the daughter of the ruling house of Amethyst. Well, her parents were murdered. So she was taken from Gemworld to Earth. And she was raised by the Winston family on Earth. Well, when she hit her teen years, 13, the Dark Opal house that killed her parents attacked her. And she ended up getting brought back into Gemworld, where she had to learn to use her powers to stop the Dark Opal. And what I always loved about, and I have some of the older issues of Amethyst, what I loved about Amethyst was I felt that at a time where the comic books were dominated by the likes of Superman and Batman, the Flash on the DC side, Amethyst I felt was kind of that book that the girls could read and give them a way into the comic book world. You know, because Amethyst, you look at the covers of Amethyst, it's bright, but Amethyst could hold her own. And even now in the New 52, a little revamp, she's still brought to Earth, but by her real mother. And she ends up she turns, I want to say at 16, she goes back to Gemworld. And what I really liked about it is the current Sword and Sorcery is written by Christy Marks, who also created one of the great cartoons of the 80s, Gem and the Holograms. But this is a woman that she's been brought out of she was taken from everything she knows here on Earth, thrown in the Gem world. But it hasn't been whiny. You know, a lot of times you get those comics where someone is taken from one place and put in another situation. It's whining. It's, oh, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. Not Amethyst. She has done what she had to do. She actually joined the Justice League Dark and helped them out on a couple missions. She's helped out John Constantine. Right now, she hates John Constantine. He did something, and she is not happy. But I always felt she was a character. I mean, she's a young teen that had so much responsibility thrusted upon her, and she stood up and really fought. You know, she didn't. There were times she may have let it get her down, but she continued to fight. And in a lot of ways, I see similarities between her and He-Man, where she had this power given to her, and she used it to better the lives of Gemworld and her people. So for that fact that she can stand up, she can do what she wants, that she can do what she needs to do to help her people and lead her people. That's why I like having Amethyst on this list.
Awesome.
Number 8, the sensational She-Hulk. So we had red She-Hulk, now we have the green She-Hulk.
Indeed. Who's currently right now in Red She-Hulk. She's been in the last 2 or 3 issues, I think. And the next issue, as a matter of fact, and Spin will like this, is taking place in the nexus of all realities, I believe, is where they're headed now. And it's going to have a Man-Thing, and is going to guest star, and Red and Green are going to have it out in the swamp. I'm thinking next issue.
And now, just so everybody is clear, we were talking about Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, not Lyra. We're talking about Jennifer Walters, who we know is the cousin of Bruce Banner, who ended up having a blood transfusion from Bruce, and she ended up becoming She-Hulk. Now, I think what we have to talk about with her is, first of all, she kind of accepted her role as the She-Hulk. You know, where Bruce is constantly trying to, in the earlier comics, you know, he's trying to get rid of the Hulk. He wants to be rid of, you know, he doesn't like the Hulk. She-Hulk has, you know, she's kind of embraced it along the way. And what I really loved about her is she's a lawyer. Her job was in her early run, she's a lawyer. And she's a darn good lawyer, and a lot of times when the Avengers or someone needs a lawyer, they're calling on She-Hulk. And She-Hulk
wasn't she kicked out of the Avengers mansion for partying too much?
Yes. Yes, she was.
She embraced her Hulk living and started partying too hard, so they threw her
And in fact, she joined the Avengers the same time Hawkeye did. The Hawkeye rejoined the Avengers. You know, because Hawkeye left and came back. She joined the same time he came back. Now, for me, what I really love, like I said, what I love is that she's always, she's smart, first and foremost, as a lawyer. And that's a good role model, is that she, you know, even with this deformity that kind of happened to her, she still stands up in front of the judges. She's still there. She'll even help Howard the Duck. She'll even be his lawyer on many occasions and put up with his zaniness.
That's why I said that the next issue of Red She-Hulk, it's her in the nexus of realities with Man-Thing. Howard may show up. There could be a cameo from your favorite duck.
I will be happy with that. But you know, she's a lawyer. She embraced the Hulkness. She's always there, willing to help out, and she always tries to look her best. I always love the Sensational She-Hulk covers because she always tried to look her best. You know, with the business suits and everything. So, the Green She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. Really happy that she is here on this list. Number 7, the Lady Sif. And Space Chief, that is your show now.
That's right. Lady Sif, her first appeared in Journey into Mystery number 102 in 1964, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. She's known as being Thor's woman in Asgard, and they've kind of been on and off again throughout the years, I guess. But there is evidence to the fact that Sif may just be attracted to the magic of Mjolnir, because she's shown attraction to Beta Ray Bill and the mortal Eric Masterson in the past. And so it could, all her attraction to Thor could be, it's all in the hammer.
That's what she said.
And if you read Journey into Mystery currently, she is currently, after the Everything Burns storyline ended in Journey into Mystery, they brought Sif back as the main character of Journey into Mystery, and it is consistently one of my favorite books, month after month. The art and the story is fantastic, and this last month, it was my pick of the week, wasn't it? I think 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that story, that was a great Journey into Mystery with Lady Sif, and a special appearance by the Warriors 3 and Thor, and the Fenris Wolf. That was a great one. Lady Sif, one of my all-time favorite women in comics. Also, the answer to the Twitter question the other day, who would you be romantically involved with from the comic world? The nerd question of the week, and she's always my go-to answer, Lady Sif.
Number 6, Princess Sally Acorn. And sadly, this would be my answer to that question. That or Beverly Switzler. Princess Sally Acorn, I am very excited that she made this list. Sally, of course, from the Sonic the Hedgehog comics, debuting in Sonic the Hedgehog back in 1993, and also with the Sonic Sat AM cartoon. Sally is a character that I feel encompasses everything that makes a strong comic book female. She is the leader of the Not Whole Freedom Fighters at the beginning of the comics run, and she is portrayed. She is a strong leader. She is a leader that truly cares for her people. But at the same time, as the comic went on, we started to see doubts within Sally. There were many times when something would happen, or she would just be sitting there thinking to herself, and she would wonder, can I do this? If we win, can I lead my people? Am I strong enough? Am I good enough to lead my people? And this was always something that Sally had to deal with, not knowing where her father was at the time, and knowing that she would have to lead these people if they defeated Dr. Robotnik. And I love that because you saw this doubt in her. You saw this humanity of her. And then when her brother miraculously shows up, Prince Elias, and he's the elder brother, and he takes the throne of Acorn, Sally's kind of like, okay, this weight is off my shoulders. I can lead my friends, my team into battle. I don't have to worry about all this. But at the same time, you still see her at times saying, I wonder if I could have done it. Or I wonder if I could have done this better than he did. And so these doubts, to me, really made her human and really she started becoming such a complex character. And she also had romances with, of course, we all know she has a romance with Sonic, but she's also had a romance with Jeffrey St. John and Monkey Khan. And there have been times her heart's been broken, and we saw her so vulnerable, like when Sonic started dating Mina Mongoose. But we've also seen her break hearts. She's broken Sonic's heart in the past. But I think one of the biggest characteristics of Sally that I truly love is her willingness to sacrifice herself. Currently in the Sonic the Hedgehog run, there was an arc known as the Genesis arc. And at the end of the Genesis arc, Dr. Eggman had created what he calls the World Roboticizer, and he was going to roboticize the entire world. Well, Sally gets into the control booth, the control center, and she knows that there's only one way to make sure all the world is not roboticized. That one person has to be. So she actually sacrifices herself and becomes a robot to save her entire people, her entire planet. So now the main gist of the Sonic storyline, other than the Worlds Collide series, is they're trying to get Sally back. They're trying to bring her back because now she works for Eggman as a robot, and they're trying to get her back. But just the willingness to sacrifice herself, the pain that she has endured, but she still kept going. The doubts, the humanity. She has everything that I feel a good, strong female role model in comics should have. So for me, I'm really glad that Sally is sitting here at number 6. She was my number 1, I want to say. She was my number 1. So I'm happy that she is sitting at number 6.
Yay.
Number 5, Rogue. Who wants to start off with Rogue?
I will start off. I'm a little fuzzy on her origin, to tell you the truth. I know she was with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, right?
Rogue originally. Rogue was raised. If you go by origin, Rogue was raised by Mystique and Destiny.
Right.
And yeah, she was originally with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
And then didn't she absorb
Miss Marvel.
Absorbed Captain Marvel's power or something, didn't she? And that's
Well,
why
at the time she was Miss Marvel.
Okay, but and she got the ability to fly and her super durability from that because it never. She managed to keep those powers. That's what I know about. I love the character in comics today. I'm just a little bit kind of fuzzy on how she started out.
All right. Of course, we know Rogue's real name is Anna Marie. And when her mutation started happening, well, actually, let's start off with that. Actually, yeah, when her powers started to appear, she was approached by Mystique. And Mystique actually came to her because her partner, Destiny, told her to. So Mystique actually takes Rogue on as a daughter. Rogue becomes her daughter. And Mystique kind of turned everything that Rogue was feeling at the time into pure anger. And then she became a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And she was part of Mystique's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with Pyro and Blob and Avalanche. And it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't by accident. Rogue actually did it intentionally and gained her powers and her powers of flight. Well, not long after Rogue became an X-Man, as we all know. And she became she became a staple of the X-Men team throughout the 80s and the 90s, and more so in the 90s. You know, she became a real staple of the blue team, of the team Cyclops led. And we know she's had, we know about her love affair with Gambit, and how her not being able to touch anybody has really bothered her entire life. But Rogue, I feel, has always been a strong person who's had to deal with something that people just would not understand how to deal with. How can you go your whole life without touching somebody else? You know, how could you go your whole life without doing that? But Rogue has had to deal with it.
Which was also a problem in Uncanny Avengers because she just recently absorbed someone's power and killed Grim Reaper in front of a live television crew. And she only meant to push him away or stun him, and she ended up murdering him on national TV.
But she is she's strong. She's always been strong. You think about what's happened in her life, the turmoil she's had to endure, but to still come out as a hero. And she's a very popular person in the cosplay world. You see a lot of cosplayers playing different Rogues, whether it's Rogue from the 90s with the leather jacket, or the current Rogue that we're seeing, that like we saw in X-Men Legacy, or now in Uncanny Avengers. But I think she's a strong character who's had to endure so many things, but still she fights on the side of good. And just wants to help out her teammates and her friends. So Rogue is sitting at number 5. Number 4, Amanda Waller.
I'll let you go ahead and take the lead on this, and I will I will follow appropriately with my opinion, because we read them from two different. You read Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You probably read Team 7 too, but I read JLA and Team 7. So
well, I read JLA as well.
Between the three of them, I don't know. Maybe we'll have a different opinion.
Well, let's talk about her pre-52 history real quick. Amanda Waller, when she was first established, she was a widow in Cabrini Green in Chicago. And her family was murdered. Well, she ended up becoming, she got her doctorate degree in political science. And she became a congressional aide, and she ended up discovering the existence of the Suicide Squad. during that time as a congressional aide, and she ended up joining, of course, the Federal Service, like Task Force X. And Amanda Waller also, even pre-52, she had the Suicide Squad. She ran over the Suicide Squad. But Amanda Waller was someone who you did not want to get on their bad side, because Amanda Waller was very, very powerful. If you want to go into the New 52, like I said, I read from JLA and I read from the Suicide Squad. Well, real quick, we'll talk about one thing with Amanda Waller is she is not above both in the comics or in real life controversy. Amanda Waller was originally depicted as a more heavier set female. Of course, in the New 52, we know she's svelte, she's thin, so a lot of controversy there. But for me, having reading her in Suicide Squad to begin with, she is not above doing illegal things to get the job done. And the whole reason she formed the Suicide Squad in the New 52 to begin with is because she wanted a team of mercenaries, so to speak, that are expendable. And she runs Belle Reve Prison. She has many expendable people in her mind at her disposal. But she also has those that she feels just cannot die. They cannot die, and she has a way of bringing them back from the dead. But she recruits Deadshot, Harley Quinn, King Shark, and sends them on these missions. To basically, it's like undercover missions. And of course, we know from Justice League of America, she is not above coming up with a contingency operation in case the Justice League goes rogue. She will bring in those people that can defeat the Justice League. But for me, I've always said Amanda Waller is probably one of the most powerful women in comics, because she has a plan for everything. She knows how to take somebody out, and she is not above getting her hands dirty. We have seen her get her hands dirty on many occasions. So for me, Amanda Waller, her cunning, her intelligence, her resources, the way she's written, the way she is just vindictive, I think she is just perfectly portrayed in any incarnation. So for me, that's why I wanted Amanda Waller on this list.
And running along with what you said, what we were talking about, she does something in Team 7 in the last issue, which I won't spoil for anyone who hasn't read it, but she does something just so out of bounds for her position in what she does. And like I said, it may be justified. I kind of see why she kind of had to do it, but it's so breaks the rules. And you'll see what I'm talking about if you read Team 7. But I can't believe it. She's got her hands. She's like almost like Wolverine, like the way he runs the school. He's an uncanny Avenger. He's in all these different titles. Amanda Waller's kind of like that. She's got the Suicide Squad. She's got JLA. I mean, she's got her hands in Jail Dark, I think, and she's got all these different groups that she's got her hands in, and she makes so many appearances in so many different comics in the New 52 that it's kind of hard to keep all the continuity straight. But I do think that she has a place on the list for sure.
Jules?
I actually, just from reading a little bit of the Suicide Squad and from what I was talking about when I was watching the show, I don't know a lot about her, but yeah, she's in everything. I see her a lot. But she does the last issue of the Suicide Squad that I read. She's very cold-hearted. I guess just not someone that you would want to cross or mess with. So I can see definitely how she would be on the list for sure.
Number 3, Mary Jane Watson.
I think she was my number 1. I love Mary Jane. I started reading Spider-Man comics before anything, and she's, the girl next door who, Peter Parker loves. And she stands by him. She, lets him be Spider-Man. And, she doesn't have any superpowers at all, but she definitely deserves to be on there just for being a strong woman. I didn't read before the movie, the comics, so I don't know a lot before then, but yeah, I just like her.
Well, if you think about Mary Jane, and the Chief will probably agree with me on this, one of the most iconic first appearances ever in comics, when she shows up at the door, at Peter Parker's door, and she says, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot." And at that time, Parker thought Mary Jane, his thoughts were she was some ugly, she was somebody he would never want to go out with. And he did not want to be set up on this date by Aunt May. And then all of a sudden, here is this drop-dead gorgeous redhead at his front door.
If you can see it right up above my shoulder there is my Spider-Man Mary Jane Happy Anniversary poster back there. I kind of tilted my camera with I don't know if you can see it very well.
That's nice.
Right there it is. Kind of up in the corner there.
Oh, I love that.
And when Ben Reilly showed up, we know Ben Reilly is Scarlet Spider. Mary Jane discovered she was pregnant, and she actually started experiencing complications with the pregnancy. And at that, they conducted tests on it, and at that time, Ben Reilly decided, they told him that Ben Reilly was the real Peter Parker because he was a clone. He decided he was going to, he being Spider-Man was causing her too much stress and was endangering her life and the life of the child. And she ended up not having the baby because it was stillborn, and she had to deal with that. And I'm rambling now. I lost it. Go ahead.
Well, the Peter making deals with Mephisto on the side, screwing with her mind and rewriting history probably isn't too fun a thing to deal with all the time.
Right. In the One More Day saga. But a woman who, when she found out, she embraced him. She still loved him, even though he was living this double life, and she stood by him. And even now, as we saw at the end of Amazing Spider-Man and into Superior Spider-Man, she still knows that he's Spider-Man, and she still supports him. And I think she's one of the most iconic women in comics.
Yeah, 3 movies. Being a major character in 3 major movies too. Probably more of a household name than most comic women are.
The 3 movies she was in the Spider-Man the animated series during the 90s. In fact, she's been a part of every Spider-Man any adaptation of Spider-Man, and she will be in the Amazing Spider-Man #2, the second movie, the sequel to Amazing Spider-Man. She is going to be in that. So, Mary Jane, welcome to #3 on our list. #2, Lois Lane. What can we say about the First Lady of Comics?
Superman likes her for some reason.
I don't know why.
I get it for an Earth Lady, okay, but she's Superman.
Why does he love the beautiful Pulitzer Prize winning journalist who has everything, brains, looks, everything? Yeah, why would he want that?
Well, he could have. She's always gonna hide this. Unless you subscribe to the she knows he's Superman storyline. But I mean, I suppose in that way. But then you look at like All-Star Superman; they can't have children because the physiology is different. I just think it's an incredible waste of Superman's time. That's just my take. The character's great. I love her as a reporter in the
I'm about to say, this is the top 20 female characters, not why we hate them so much.
No. I will say no. Great character. Don't think she belongs with Superman. I've never. Well, she wasn't on my list.
I think I had Lois on my list. She, like you said, Superman loves her. I mean, I think he basically sees through her. He sees her heart. He sees that, she is smart, as you were saying. And he has this like overwhelming protection of her, like, no other. It's like, I don't know, like I think they go good together. Anytime you hear Superman, you automatically think Lois, she's like, she's smart, she's beautiful, she, brings out the best in Superman. I think she definitely deserves to be number 2.
I think the dynamic between her and Superman is, I think he's like dependent on her in a way, because he's still, even though he's Superman, he's still from Kansas. He's still from Smallville, so he's still naive to a degree about society. And I think that he looks at her as somebody who's got it all together as far as blending in with Earth people, and I think that's his attraction to her in a big way. I think that's why he's kind of focused on her. She's one of the first people he's met and become friends with since he's started interacting in the big city with people outside of Smallville. So I think he's just made that instant attraction to her. And I think that's interesting, though. I think that's more human than just, this is Superman's woman and he's Superman, and I don't know. It just seems more multi-layered, the fact that he can't really tell her who he is, and he's got this obsession with her because he's still really a naive farm boy with fantastic powers.
Well, let's look at this. If you look at this, and especially these were my reasons for her on the list. First and foremost, she is a career-oriented woman. She is very much a part, her career is her career. And she will stop at nothing to be the best at what she does. She is not above going out into the fight to get the story that she needs. She can be crass. She can be pig-headed. She can be stubborn. But everything of that is what makes her so compelling. It's because we're looking at a woman who is not the classic damsel in distress. That, she needs the man to save her. She doesn't. Now, does Superman save her a lot? Yeah, he does. But she doesn't need it because she is so strong-willed. She is so not afraid to get thrown into the fight, if need be, to get what she needs. We've seen her vulnerable. We've seen her heart. I think more than anybody else, we've seen her heart. And, we always joke, does she know that Clark is Superman? It's obvious. It's very obvious. Does she know? Does she not know? Is she keeping the secret because she does know? Lois is a mystery with that. She could keep that all to herself and never let anybody know. But when you see her working with other people, when you see her conversing with Jimmy, Jimmy, we love you, Jimmy, or Perry, she is very about the business. And I think when you look at it from a standpoint of a woman who is business and career goal oriented, she is perfect. But she can be a loving girlfriend, a loving wife. You see the business can leave at times, and she can be that woman that that you can truly care for. And we saw that a lot with the death of Superman, and how she took the death of Superman. Because she was, she was torn. She was completely destroyed, but she continued to push on. And so, for me, that's Lois. And in any incarnation of Superman, you're going to have Lois Lane. Before we get to number 1, let's count down numbers 20 through 2. Number 20, Sue Richards. Number 19, Marceline the Vampire Queen. Number 18, Harley Quinn. Number 17, Andrea. Number 16, Bubbles. Number 15, Catwoman. Number 14, Michonne. Number 13, Shauna the She-Devil. Number 12, Red She-Hulk. Number 11, Storm. Number 10, Wonder Woman. Number 9, Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld. Number 8, Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk. Number 7, the Lady Sif. Number 6, Princess Sally Acorn. Number 5, Rogue. Number 4, Amanda Waller. Number 3, Mary Jane. And number 2, Space Chief's favorite, Lois Lane.
Actually, I have to pause.
And now, the panel to panel, number 1 female in comics is... Barbara Gordon.
Indeed.
Now, I want everybody to know, though, remember, we said Barbara Gordon. We did not say Batgirl. We said Barbara Gordon. So who wants to start off with Babs?
I guess I will start off. I think one of my favorite stories in the Barbara Gordon and the life of Batgirl is The Killing Joke, obviously, and when it's a famous Batman story for those who don't know, but that's the story where she gets shot and is paralyzed and put in the wheelchair in the first place, and in a lot of ways, the character Barbara Gordon in the wheelchair and being Oracle and all that to Batman and her out of the cape identity is a lot more interesting than her being Batgirl. I think that the whole overcoming the paralysis and getting back that whole thing as she built to becoming Batgirl, I think is more interesting than her fighting the criminals out in the streets. And that aspect of her character. Having said that, Batgirl still is probably my second favorite of the Bat books.
Well, when you talk about Barbara Gordon, you think about a girl who comes from a broken home. Because remember, her mother left town. We know her brother is a psychopath. Her father is always working as police commissioner. But here's a girl that through that, she is, in many senses, she's a genius. She is a child prodigy. And she taught herself everything that she knows. And decided to take up the mantle of Batgirl to help Batman. And through her connections with her father as police commissioner, she's always been able to find out a lot of information on crimes and what's going on. And to me, I think Barbara is the only person who could really rival Bruce as the greatest detective that ever lived. Because in my mind, I think Barbara is someone who could knock him off that pedestal because she's a great detective in her own right. And when she became Oracle, after she was paralyzed in The Killing Joke, a lot of people would have said, you know what, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. Look what it's done to me. She continued to fight. She got with the birds of prey. She relayed messages not only to Batman, but to the Justice League as well. She was kind of the all-seeing, all-knowing eyes for everybody. And now coming back as Batgirl in the 52, you really think about it, she has not had a single moment of downtime since the beginning of the New 52 in almost 20 issues. It has been constant. She's had to fight one thing after another. she has not had a moment to relax since the 52 started. And she's had the doubts. Should I have come back? Was it too soon? Can I still do this? And especially after death of the family. Now what she's going through. And I'm waiting for next month because next month is Batman and Batgirl in the titles. But for me, Barbara Gordon, I think she, out of everyone, has gone through she's gone through more trauma, more stress, and fought through adversity better than anybody. And for me, that's why she is number one.
And not only that, she fought her own brother, and it appeared that she killed her own brother in front of Commissioner Gordon in a couple issues, or last issue. Was it last issue?
Last issue.
Yeah.
And so now she's got her own father basically hunting her. So she's got to deal with that added stress on top of the psychopath brother and the mother that abandoned her and all that.
Yeah, me and Keith were actually talking about The Killing Joke today because it had been a while since I read it. And yeah, I mean, she definitely has overcome so much. She's, strong. Like you were saying, she could have just gave up. I mean, definitely if it was me, I would have definitely gave up. But she is definitely, especially a role model for, young girls, to keep going. And then in the New 52, that is right now probably one of my favorite books. I mean, every time I read it, I'm just like, my heart's racing, and it's just great. And, that issue that you were just talking about where she thought she killed him, that's probably one of my favorite ones of this that I've read so far. But yeah, she deserves to be number one. Anybody can look up to her and just, if she can do it, then they can do it. She's great.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is the top 20, Panel to Panel's top 20 females in comics. Did your favorite make our list? Let us know on Twitter at #PanelToPanel. And keep a lookout for the name of the winner who will get this Walking Dead book. Pretty. So, from us here at Panel to Panel, I am Spin Dash.
Space Chief.
Jules.
And we're saying to you... Seriously, we've done 3 episodes and we're still getting this crap at the end. Can we get something